Hello. Been doing a bit of a 2-day trip and I thought I'd make a video of it. It's probably going to be long-winded for what it's worth, so feel free to scrub through little bits and parts here and there, or just keep it rolling. Either way, enjoy. Why not bring 2,000 calories worth of Swiss cheese? It's basically a heart attack in a bag. It ain't pretty, but it's gonna get me there. Bags are starting to not like the ride so much. As you can see, I might just cut the camera for a second. Why not? Everything I need is on this table. no other requirements. Already I have too much stuff here. Alright, fondue recipe. Not the best, but sufficient for the woods. More than half a kilo of Gruyere. Step 1. Pour an undefined amount of white wine enough to sink all the cheese in. Try to find your cutlery. Looking pretty much everywhere. You're gonna have to forgive me this time, Jeremy. I don't have your knife because I lost the case for it. Open up a whole garlic, only to discover that most of it is old. Take what's left of the garlic, a fair amount, and ideally put it in earlier, but cut the cheese into small pieces because it will take a long time to melt. And then, needless to say, put them in. Have a taste. Ooh, sticky. And realize why the best fondues are 50% Gruyere and 50% Vacherin instead of all Gruyere. Whew. It's the first one I've ever had like that. That's interesting. Keep stirring, and like I said, in the absence of kirsch, add some grappa to taste. Say cheers to existence and nature. Why not? You know, it could be worse. In the absence of truly old bread, grab as old bread as you can. Okay. Don't add a deciliter of grappa. Add a little bit, like a shot or two. Otherwise, you might as well call it grappa fondue instead of cheese fondue. Must say there's aromas here. Totally forget about hydrating after cycling for tens of kilometers and fully expect a terrible dehydrated hangover the next morning. Be grateful for the garlic and the fragrances of the Swiss grass fields where the cows have fed. I'm not gonna say no to this. I think it's a valid meal. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. It's quite ridiculous to have brought this cheese into this forest, but it's like, for me, it's a ritual. Yes, I'm enjoying the cheese, of course, but I've done this to make a bit of a fuss, or like to do something slightly silly, so that I can kind of just stop for a moment and look around me, and let's just have a look. Let's just have a little look around. So there's your fondue, right? And then it's just like, and obviously there's the horrible mess of all my stuff here. But if we just look above that, it's just, so much of it is about what you focus on in life, isn't it? So many of us are whinging about how terrible things are, and I do that all the time. I'm not lecturing that you shouldn't, but I've come here to have this ritual to realize, like Life is good, man. That's all I need to say is life is good. Final note on this recipe. Stop eating halfway through realizing that you didn't burn 2,000 calories on your way over. And even if you had done, trying to replenish that with a block of cheese this big. You know how people are mindful of how much butter they use on bread? If you think about it, cheese is way worse and you're trying to stuff yourself with it. Lovely. What are you going to do? I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a lid on this, leave it here, and have some more cheese in the morning for breakfast. I have to say, I slept really well. And there's just one thing I'd like to share from the evening. There's a wonderful kind of symphony that went on. I didn't have my earplugs on. I don't know what you can hear on this video, but if you listen for a second, the forest always makes some sort of noise. There's a little bit of wind in the leaves now. There's a couple of birds singing. There's always something going on. But at night, there were moments of absolute silence. There's no wind, no birds. And then those were intercut with loads of birds singing at different times, or different birds individually. And so I would wake up to that every once in a while. Anyway, it's hard to describe the experience, but if you imagine that everything's completely dark because you've got your eye mask on, and then everything goes quiet, there's no sound. It's like you've reset your entire world. There's nothing in the universe. And then sometimes birds would sing individually. There would be one in that tree and then one in that tree. And you could tell it's very three-dimensional. Okay, fine. But then there's this moment when some bird from the distance over there that was very different sounding. I've heard it maybe once or twice before, but it sounded really spooky. It was just like, like some crazy bird like that. And what it did was it made every bird just suddenly like shout out and start doing their own thing. And it was like this cacophonic rock concert symphony where everyone's doing their own solo. You'd have like a bird there, but each a different species singing a different song, and it just went like full of noise. And it was like, because you have your eye mask on, it's just like the whole world became completely saturated with the three-dimensional sound that was echoing everywhere. And it was really wonderful to listen to. It was very weird. It was as if everyone was having a panic attack, and then it just stopped again. Complete silence. There was definitely some kind of message being passed through, even if it's just everyone going, what? And it was fun to listen to. Anyway, let's see how the day rolls on. Now, I'm not sure if you want to see this, but a word of warning, I'm going to show you what's left over of the fondue yesterday. Okay, that's looking sort of alright, but then underneath you got this burnt bit. In Switzerland, they call that the religieuse, the religious. And you can ask in a restaurant for a guy later to grab a chisel and chisel it off the bottom. And some people think that's the tastiest bit. With the way that this is set up, it's obviously getting burned very much at the bottom without heating the rest very easily. So I'm getting double religious here. Getting two different burnt parts to the fondue. But it's actually kind of tasty. I have to say one thing, if I may. Just a little observation when you come to a place like this. It's like we are desensitized as people. We no longer look around. We don't smell the environment out of pleasure. We don't, this place is calm and still, and there's nothing here in a sense of humanity right now. But it's a place that makes you stop and look and listen. And we rob ourselves of that opportunity on a regular basis by allowing ourselves to be bombarded by stimulus. It's good to just switch off every once in a while. Find yourself in an environment, could be in the city, could be out here in the supposed middle of nowhere, where you find yourself in a place where you're not constantly bombarded by what's more often than not useless information. Just take in what's actually there, right in front of you. Alright, so just leaving the camp there for the night and gonna go for a longish ride around. So that's the setup now with less stuff, just a little fuel tank on the side there. Somebody's been chopping some wood. It's good to stop every once in a while, or when you do, you have this wonderful soundscape. I bet you can't hear it. I wish you could. But the only sound you hear is these birds singing, and you get this immense reverb from all the different trees, I'm assuming. All right, so we are here at this point of the typical Finnish outdoor map. There's a place you can sit over here. There are fish over there. There's a bonfire place with a roof on top over there. There's a bonfire place without a roof on top over there. There's a toilet, a swimming place, a sauna, camping site, 2 buildings, and most importantly, a playing spot for kids. And someone left a shopping bag over there. Paradise is over here. Let's go there first. So you have a typical swamp peat environment here. The biggest carbon deposit in Finland. The swamps have been formed over thousands of years, and they've turned into peat, which will eventually turn into coal. The swamps are also nature's archives. Deep within the peat, people have found ancient types of pollen, as well as human artifacts, including the world's oldest ski, over 5,000 years old. So people have been skiing around here for a while. So this is paradise, apparently. I just meditated here for 25 minutes after swimming, and it was good. I need to do it more often. Meditation isn't something that you should do to achieve anything in particular. On the contrary, sometimes it's good to unachieve, to detach, or to disassociate yourself with goals or intentions of, oh, I've got to do this, otherwise everything's a failure. But if I took anything from this particular session, it would be this. You are making choices all the time. You know, you're watching this video as opposed to watching another video, or you're watching this video as opposed to doing something else, or just simply sitting down and not doing anything. Today, it's more challenging than ever to filter out the noise, all the messages you get. And I mean, I probably sent you this video to check out. And so if this is a waste of time for you, then I hope, you know, you're doing better things with your life. But now more than ever, we're in a position where it's very easy to slip into a world of noise, or a world of not listening in to your own ideas or wishes or wants or desires or understandings of things. And we all have to do things in our lives that we don't necessarily like. That's fine. We also have to do things that we don't like in order to achieve the things that we do want to achieve and that do like in our lives. But this is a message to both yourself or myself, if I end up watching this again sometime, is that if you find yourself in a situation where you're thinking, no, this sucks, my life sucks, this isn't where it's supposed to be at. You know, like I wish I was out there in a place called paradise, going for a swim and meditating. Then what I would say is this: you're making choices all the time. You don't realize it, but you're making decisions on a continual basis as to what you're actually doing with your life from one moment to the next. And so if you find yourself in a situation where something is disagreeable, okay, you may have to just deal with that for a while. That's fine. But if you don't make yourself a game plan or a strategy or a method or a way out of the situation, or a way of dealing with the situation, going through it, then you surely should just expect more of the same. If you're not making plans or taking action within yourself or within your environment to change things, then you shouldn't expect things to just get better by themselves. Make it happen. Don't expect anyone else, or don't expect the world to hand you over these sort of like ready-made solutions if you want tailored results. If you want to tailor yourself a new destiny, you have got to do the handwork of tailoring the damn thing. It's not going to present itself like, oh, hey, would you like to do this? You know? Before I turn this into a massive lecture, which it already is, I just wanted to say to yourself that you are in charge. Yes, you are dancing with a universe that throws random things at you, and not all of those things are pleasant. Not all of the things that you get given are things that you've chosen for yourself. But you're still very much having a say in what it is you end up doing. Now, I know that this is a really first world kind of individualistic point of view to give you, and with all the consumer stuff that you've seen in this video so far with me eating, you know, imported cheese, it's like, who is this guy anyway? Why is he telling me this? Well, I'm telling you this after sitting on a nice little beach and having a bit of time, which we never have these days. We don't give ourselves time to just stop and think. If you stop and think about where you're at the moment and the struggles you're going through, you will find new solutions. And then you just got to take action. You know how on the map at one point it said specifically that there's a swimming beach by the end of the lake? I regret to inform us that this, I believe, is the swimming beach. It's like, what? I looked around for it, both sides. There's a dog swimming beach on the other side as well, but apparently this is it. Good thing I went for a swim earlier. I don't think I'm going to bother with that one. So here's the local shop. Here's some food on the go without a cooker. Chanterelle soup poured into a container. Close the container, give it a little shake, and then attach it to the bike and let it be there for an hour or something, and it'll turn into a soup, presumably. It's 9 o'clock in the evening and we're still riding. So we're back. Alright, so today I went like this to here. That was Paradise where I had the swim. This is where there was that useless beach. And then I went to check out this place as well for fun. And then I came back home. And that was about 50 kilometers, I think. Tomorrow I'm planning to follow the cycle route back towards home. Take it all the way down to this big lake here, then back up north that way onto a main road and down that way, and then over to a big central park of Helsinki, and then through that to home. So we're packed up and ready to go again. Like I said, it's not pretty, but it will get us there. cheating. All right, so you remember how this table is completely full of stuff when I left? I'm curious to see in all of these bags what I didn't end up using. All right, so from all the 18 kilos that I was carrying, what I didn't end up using is this. First of all, food. Now there's pretty much half a day's worth of food, including fuel, which if I had stayed for another half a day, I would have used. So I would have taken that with me anyway. Another bunch of stuff I would have taken with me anyway is a repair kit and my med kit. So that really only leaves this much stuff that I didn't use. I did actually use these, so we can throw those away. So between all of these, the leftover grappa weighs 700 grams. Whereas the rest of all of this stuff combined weighs just under 600 grams. The lesson is, don't take too much grappa with you. Back to where we started then. It's pretty much finished here. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm now going back to the grind, back to work. Let's not forget, life can be good sometimes, you know? Till next time. I'm sort of getting to a certain stage in life where I feel like I've done most of what I want to do, if not all, you know? Well, maybe you don't know, but it's quite a curious feeling where you sort of go, I'm good. I don't need to desperately do anything other than whatever is going on now. So that really leaves you two options. You can, once you've filled up your bucket list, you can either die or you can keep on living. So I'm gonna keep on living.